right, we are live. So, welcome everybody. We are here with Chrissy Schairer, Chrissy as everybody calls her, in the United Science Center greenhouse. This was newly built a year and 2 years ago. Why don't we just start off, Chrissy? Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what your position is here?
I'm Chrissy. I'm a professional service specialist.
Hey, well, let me move a little closer. There we go.
And I manage this greenhouse as well as the Arts and Science greenhouse. And basically, I do as much as possible. I'm responsible for the student workers so that they can come in here and work and understand how to grow plants, how to take cuttings, how to repot, how to maintain a greenhouse.
All right, so Chrissy, I'm just going to ask you to either take off the mask, and I know that's we have Justine on the stream right now, and so she's going to yell at us, but people can't hear you is going to be the problem, and so Justine, you can blame me, and look, I'm going to keep the mask on, right? So I got the mask on. Now, what Chrissy is not telling you is that she is amazing, and she's the mastermind of this project. She is master gardener, and she can grow pretty much anything. She's your go-to person, all right? So I'm going to flip the screen back. There we go. Justine hasn't yelled at us yet. Thank you. All right, so we've already got 6 people on, which is fantastic. Welcome to everybody. We're here in the United Science Center greenhouse with Chrissy Schairer, who is mastermind extraordinaire. She is responsible for maintaining this lovely place. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of this greenhouse, what it's used for? Go ahead.
Well, this greenhouse opened up in the fall of 2018, and we use it for both teaching labs and research purposes. So our biology level 2 class, B&E, actually come in here and we take plants, put it in the lab, and then we welcome the students to come in here and explore the greenhouse as well.
All right. So for those of you that aren't familiar, I mean, our primary goal at Stockton is really about education as well as research. And so we have quite a lot of plants in here. This is one of it's a state-of-the-art greenhouse, yes. Right? Really, I mean, we've got some amazing technology. We've got lighting technology. We've got lighting technology. Justine's husband just sent me a friend request. We've got lighting controls, we've got watering controls, we've got ventilation controls. Everything can be run on an automatic system. But you know what? Or manual system. But you know what? While we are staring at some beautiful plants, let's go ahead. Let's just take us to some of the coolest plants that you have in the greenhouse.
Well, besides the orchids.
Well, let's look at the orchids first. That's what everybody wants to see. Let's look at the orchids. All right, you can come over here. I'll just zoom in. All right, so tell us a little bit about these orchids.
That is a phalaenopsis. It's also known as the moth orchid. It's one of the most common ones that you can get, whether you go to Produce Junction, ShopRite, wherever you can find them. They're easy to grow. Basically, they like cool temperatures in order to set the flower spike, and they can bloom on the same spike for a couple years.
Do you grow orchids on your own?
Yeah, I have about 100 orchid plants in my own greenhouse.
Oh, so you're a dork. So what about these? And by the way, anybody who's listening right now, feel free to chime in with questions, or if you're curious about anything, if you want us to show you anything, by all means, just chat it up, and I'll let Chrissy know your questions.
That's a cattleya. That one, and then the one right here is a cattleya. Those are also common. That's the first time it's been blooming in here since we've been in this greenhouse. It's more difficult to bloom because the conditions have to be just right. They like a lot of light, a lot of water, and fertilizer.
Do they smell good?
That one does smell.
All right, I can't take off my mask right now. All right, what else we got?
We also...
What is this beautiful one right here?
That's an oncidium. It's another type of orchid plant.
Looks like a little dancing person.
Well, this one, not as much, but this one does. This one, if the wind is blowing on it, it actually looks like it's dancing.
No, but I'm saying this one looks like a ballerina.
Well, yeah.
Look, it's like she's holding her hands up.
It's the first time that one's bloomed in this greenhouse as well.
It's beautiful. Do you compete in orchid shows?
I used to. When we would have the Ocean City Flower Show, King of Prussia Flower Show, the Orchid Society that I belong to we would compete and do displays, and I actually would bring some of Stockton's orchids to the Ocean City Flower Show.
Did we win?
In fact, I did. I beat a commercial grower on one of the orchids that we used to have. It was a banda type of orchid, which is right in that corner. The one that's sticking out, these are called bandas. It was that type, and I was able to beat the commercial grower with one of them, as well as a cattleya that had big white flowers.
Well, aren't you amazing?
A couple awards.
And then we have another orchid over here. Same, looks like that's the same one, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, they're all coming from the same.
These actually bloom this time of year, just right in time for the Ocean City Flower Show.
And so what is the purpose behind keeping all of these orchids in the greenhouse right now? Is it really just for show, for display, or?
It's for display, if people want to study them.
Okay.
We used to bring orchids up to the former president of the university, Dr. Farris. She loved her orchids, she loved her plants, she supported greenhouse, and it was my job as a student worker here to go tend to her plants, and I would, every time one bloomed, I would bring them up to her office and do a display for her.
You were her lackey. Yeah, okay.
But I didn't mind.
What else do we have in here? That's a pretty one.
That's a little miniature cattleya. So you have various sizes of cattleyas. Some are called standard, some are miniature. This is a miniature one.
How big do they get?
This one will stay the size.
Okay.
That one stays the size. We also have a nepanthes. That one's done blooming.
Cool. Do they all have these kind of, no, what is this bulbous?
That's a bulbous. It's basically, it holds the water, so that would be initially like a growth. And what ends up happening is they grow a certain direction. So you'll get a new growth coming up, and then the new growth will form the flower spikes.
Neat.
However, when you go to repot it, you got to make sure that you put the back bulbs up against the back of the pot so that you have enough room for at least a year to 2 years.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This one is a species.
Well, they're all species, aren't they?
Well, no, we have hybrids in here. That one is a species orchid. It loves it in here. That was one of the first plants we put in here, and
It's so tiny.
It is tiny.
I can't even focus on it. Cool. All right, what else do we have in here?
Well, we'll look at the passion fruit.
We have passion? Oh, yeah. By the way, if you're tuning in, please ask questions. Feel free. And let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from.
This was taken by a cutting from our one TES worker, temporary employee. And we were able to get it going. It blooms like crazy this time of year.
So this is it's a vine, yeah?
It is a vine.
Yeah, so we've got
so you
it.
can see it trailing.
It's taken over. It's trying to compete with the grapes.
Yes.
We do have grapes. Look, we've got grapes. This is because I drink wine, a lot of wine. So this is my favorite one. Can I eat one?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh no, you better ask Justine.
oh, Justine doesn't have to know.
I ate one already. So.
All right, I'm gonna stick it underneath my mask. Oh, wait, here we go. Let's flip the screen. Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. It tastes like a grape. All right, I'm gonna eat the seed. What else do we got?
Well, we have some unique plants. Back here, this plant here is called a devil's backbone because the way it's shaped, it reminds you of a backbone.
Cool. That doesn't have any leaves.
They don't. Yeah, that one
So
doesn't
the
leave.
entire plant must be photosynthetic then.
Yep.
Neat.
Entire plant.
Cool little succulent right there.
Yes, we have some succulents growing in here, and then we have some succulents in our desert area.
So this greenhouse is huge, by the way. We're going to take you on a tour in a little bit, but most of the really cool plants are right here. What is this thing? It looks like a cancer.
This is called a Hoya.
What have you got growing in here?
It's dirt, an
It's just-
algae.
Oh, okay. What is it called?
It's called Hoya.
Hoya?
Yep. The flowers are, on this one is the pink flowers, and there's little tiny, whole bunch in one little whole area. It was blooming a couple weeks ago. I don't see it blooming now.
Nice. What else?
We have a lot of unique things in here.
What's your favorite
Besides the orchids?
besides the orchids?
I would say the pineapple.
We have a pineapple, folks. Let's go. Oh, I know what my favorite one is. Yeah. What's that? It's called the parrot flower.
Bird of paradise.
Bird of paradise. Guys, this is my favorite one right here. I love this one.
We have 2 plants.
Hang on. This one actually has a symbiosis with ants.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
know.
So it has a symbiosis with ants. Ants live inside of here, and they defend the plant against enemies. And the plant, of course, gets the defense, and the ants get food and shelter. But really beautiful. These grow like weeds all over the place in the tropics.
Yes.
Okay, where is this pineapple?
So, first, we gotta do it this way.
Okay.
This is a baby pineapple forming. Those are where the flowers
It's so tiny. Okay.
are. Then, it goes to that.
I gotta avoid the spikes.
Yeah, they hurt, because I'm getting poked by.
So, is this one gonna get bigger?
That one's gonna get bigger, because
Can we
then,
eat it?
not yet.
Oh.
It will when it turns yellow.
Oh, look, there's bigger ones.
This one has 2 on it. That,
Jealous plant.
Yeah, that big one, it will eventually, over time, turn a bright yellow, and this greenhouse will smell like a pineapple.
Nice.
The way to test whether or not the pineapple is ripe to harvest is you pull the center leaf out. If it's so easy to pull out, it's ready, and then you can twist it off and.
Yeah, I knew that. That's the way that you test it in the grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
All these ones we started here, we started with 1 pineapple.
With 1 pineapple.
1 pineapple.
Let's take a look at this baby one again.
It's actually easy to start the pineapple because you just take the top off, let it dry 24 hours, and then stick the top up in a little bit of water. Once you start seeing roots growing, you can repot it.
The plants are poking me. I'm getting attacked.
Or you want to see another cute little orchid?
Of course I want to see another cute orchid. Man, you have so many plants in here. It's so tiny. Is this the same thing?
It's a species, yep.
That's beautiful.
We do have some rare orchids. This is called a ghost orchid.
You just took it from its water.
I have it in there because it needs a lot more moisture and humidity.
So for those of you that don't
It's
know,
mine.
orchids are epiphytes. They grow on other things, so they don't have to be rooted in soil.
They're epiphytes and they're also terrestrial orchids.
Well, I stand corrected. There can be terrestrial orchids as well. So this looks gross.
This is gross because of the algae built up on it, so I need to redo it.
Well, it also looks kind of dead.
No, it's a leafless orchid, and the only place you can find it is in the Everglades. They used
The
to
Florida Everglades?
Florida Everglades. They used to give tours and show people where they were, but they had to stop because people would go in and just harvest the plants. They are pollinated by a moth, and they bloom at night, and they're pollinated that way. This is done by tissue culture. It's actually my orchid, but my greenhouse at home, I lost heat, so I'm allowed to store it here until...
Well, that's okay. We enjoy hosting all kinds of plants.
And it's a unique plant, and I like to show it to people to show what the uniqueness of some of the plants we have here.
And so it's not just you that maintains all of these plants. You definitely, before COVID, we have student workers that help out. Depending upon how things turn out, we'll have more student workers. And so if you are a prospective or current Stockton student and you're interested in working in the greenhouse, contact her. All right, what else? That's a pretty
This big, gigantic...
What the hell is that? It's a cactus.
It is. It's a type of coral cactus, spring cacti. This was donated to us about 10 years ago by this lady up in Deal, New Jersey.
Dude, this is huge.
It's huge. I have a baby in the desert area that I started.
This is Chrissy size.
It's Chrissy size.
All right, so I've never seen a cactus quite like this before. So it almost looks like a coral.
Yep.
Is that what it's called? A coral
It's called
cactus?
Coral cactus,
Coral
brain
cactus.
cacti.
Oh, that's so neat.
It's a
What
euphorbia.
size? What size did you get it at?
This size.
Oh, so it hasn't grown that much.
No.
Okay.
Now you have to imagine. You see the size of this plant?
Yeah.
We had it in a van, and we took it off a van and brought it into our
Whoa.
former F-wing science lab that had steps.
I hope everyone was wearing safety gloves.
Then it was wrapped. Actually, it was wrapped.
Oh, okay.
And then to get it over into this greenhouse, I had the help of the move crew.
Nice.
Because there was no way I could have done that. So
No way.
I couldn't have done it without the move crew.
No, it's the size of you. What else do we have? A little bit of peace plants there.
With peace plants, we also have a wild
What is this cool little flower right here? Well, it's not even a flower. It's got
That's called a blood lily.
a blood lily, folks.
These are the seeds on it.
Why is it called blood lily?
Because when it's blooming, it's a gigantic, big, bright pink
Oh, are those
flower.
the big red puffballs?
Yes.
Oh, that's what it looks like after the puffball is done. I've never seen that.
And I'm not
Okay.
going to cut it off because I want to see if I can try to harvest some of these seeds.
Of course you do.
Yes. Me.
All the fun is in seeing if you can grow the plants from the seeds that you produce yourself.
Now, everyone has to pardon the amount of plants we have in here right now. We're trying to
Did you say that we have to pardon the amount of plants?
pardon.
That's the
Well,
best thing
because
about this, is that we have so many
moved
plants.
because of COVID and being on campus. I moved the plants out of the one room to make it easier for me. So we have a lot of plants from one room into this area right now.
Oh,
So
man.
that's why it looks kind of crowded. Yeah.
What is this thing?
It's called bleeding heart. It's a tropical bleeding heart, clerodendron.
Oh, that's pretty.
If you really, well, the ones here are almost done, but there's some that are blooming right at the top.
Oh man, check this out. Those are beautiful. Bleeding heart, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got? This is fuzzy.
Can you guess what it is?
Is it called a fuzzy plant?
No. You can pick one of the leaves and smell it.
Okay, I'm gonna pick
If you can through the mask. I bumped into it, so I was able to smell
Can
it.
I just rub it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It smells like rosemary.
No. We don't have rosemary in this greenhouse.
Well, it doesn't look like rosemary. I'm not an idiot.
You do cook with it.
Lemony.
You can cook with it.
All right. Well, I've just gone through all this mess. What is it?
It's a type of oregano. It's actually marjoram.
Oh, it's marjoram.
It's a type of,
I thought marjoram grows in grocery stores.
It's a tropical one.
You're supposed to laugh at that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a tropical marjoram species. You ever just chop one off and throw it onto the...
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't try. Then we have our lemons trees.
Has it produced lemons?
We do. We actually do get lemons.
Wait, is this spiky thing the lemon tree?
Uh-huh.
Lemon trees have spikes?
Yes, there's another one here.
I didn't know that lemon trees had spikes. They're nasty. Cool. What is this beautiful thing?
This is called an oxalis.
An oxalis? Oh, shoot, there's a flower.
It blooms for us like crazy too. This wasn't doing so well, and then once it warmed up, it really did well. I thought we were going to lose it, and it's blooming.
Looks like a helicopter.
It does. It actually does.
That's
and
beautiful.
This one you can let go dry, and it'll still come back.
Huh. Now I got the scent in my nose. It won't go away. Oh, I'm being stabbed by plants. Oh,
But this one's not so big.
oh. Wait, is this another one of those fire plants? Or what did you call
Now,
them?
it's type of, I'm going to go brain freeze
It's
right
okay.
now.
You're remembering everything right now.
Papyrus.
Papyrus.
This is one type. The one next to it is what they would make paper out of.
Oh, okay.
In fact, there was a class offered here that he would borrow the plant and would make paper.
So what do? You grind up all of the senescent tissue, the dead tissue, and make a pulp with it?
He probably did it that way, or he just took it, opened it up, and then let it dry and
Aw,
just
man.
wrote on it. That's what the Egyptians used to use.
So for all of you who are tuning in, we've got about 15 viewers right now, which is fantastic. For all of you who are tuning in, if you have any comments or questions, just shoot them along. in the chat box. Don't be afraid. Tell Chrissy that she's beautiful, or tell me that I'm beautiful. That works too.
My husband might be on it.
I think he is. Anyways, so just feel free to send a chat message out. And we're just kind of exploring plants right now. We're going to take you on another tour of the greenhouse in a little bit. These are really nice.
This is an experiment.
It's an experiment.
Someone's trying to grow grass. So.
I can grow grass. I just do it on my yard.
I'm sure.
Grass
See,
seed.
it's Matt Olson's class.
I don't care.
So we do have some research going on here. So, you know how to get rid of mosquitoes?
Is it through something like lemon balm or something? Citronella?
Citronella. This is a citronella plant.
Yup, it smells like citronella. That's cool. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the irrigation system that we have it here and show us kind of how it works.
So the irrigation system, it's an automatic system. In this room, it comes on twice a day.
Okay.
Partly because try to keep the temperature down a little bit. It's automatic. It's set programmed. I don't have to do anything, and basically it just goes on, and the water just shoots out and sprays all the plants.
Okay, so we've got just a regular old nozzle right here, and so there's no water flowing through the pipe just right now, but we've got this hooked up to the central irrigation system.
And I could be mean, I could turn it on, but I don't want to.
Floor drains everywhere.
Yep.
All right.
Drains.
So we've got everything on a timer. And as you might or might not have noticed, we're in one room right now, and you can control the irrigation system on each one of these benches separately?
Yes.
Okay.
For some reason,
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, just five benches?
2, 4, 6.
Oh, we've got 10 benches.
7. Yeah, like we have 8 benches.
Oh, 8 benches in this room, and each one of
them.
them can be controlled separately. Okay.
So if for some reason there's nothing on one bench, I can actually turn off the water on that bench, conserve the water so it's not wasting.
Okay. Okay.
And then I can program, turn each of these nozzles in case I wanted to, just so that I can have a little bit less water coming out or more water coming out,
Okay.
which isn't so bad on a very hot day.
And it's controlled enough so that this nozzle right here is not spraying the plants over here?
Right.
Cool.
If that happens, then I know there's a problem. If I come in here and I see that there's a dry area and I know the sprinkler system should have been on, I have to turn on the system manually and check to see what's wrong. And a lot of times it's just that the valve has been moved.
What is this beautiful flower right here?
It's what I always call it the funeral plant.
The funeral plant.
It's an anthurium.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
It's just something, because you always see that in the displays.
This one's getting in my way. It's got an ant on it too.
Yeah. Now here, this is called it's one of a tree. It's called a fern tree. So it'll grow up this big thing here, and usually becomes really tall.
Oh, it's really windy.
It's windy because this is an offshoot of this one. This part died off, and it produced a baby. So.
Man, it looks like these plants have been here for decades and decades and decades. So this greenhouse is only 2 years old, but we've been maintaining plants at Stockton for decades and decades, right? So a lot of these plants have been moved over from old greenhouses, and Stockton's continual attempt to try to renovate and create the best of the best, we've just moved plants over. So I'm guessing that this plant was in the old.
It was in the old greenhouse.
In the old greenhouse.
That was maintained when I was there. So, for most people who don't realize, I've been here for about 28 years. I was a Stockton student, so I'm an alumni.
She looks young, but she's like 150.
Yeah. And I've been able to see the progress between the greenhouses and getting this new greenhouse. I'm fighting for this greenhouse.
So you essentially got your dream job.
Yeah, it's kind of my dream.
Justine's still on.
I have a dream job, but I was hesitant.
Well, I mean, you finally got the greenhouse of your dreams.
I got the greenhouse of my dreams.
This one's pretty too. What is this one right here?
That one was donated to us, and I can never remember the name, but I know it goes dormant, and we do let it dry out. It looks like a bird.
Gorgeous.
To me.
It does look like a bird. All right, so we've got an automatic or a manual, if we want to, irrigation system. Now, another thing that we've got in here is a heating system as well, and we can actually control the temperature around each one of these benches separately as well, too, which is one of the coolest things about this greenhouse. I'm going to walk in here because it's clear. If you guys can take a look underneath of the tables, you can see these radiator. These are radiators,
yes,
right? So you can see these heating complexes right here that are directly underneath of the table. All right, and so tell us a little bit about how you can control the heat.
Well, the reason why we want them underneath the table, because in the old former greenhouse, it was along the wall. So certain areas didn't get the heat, certain areas did. Studies have shown that it's better to have the heat as close to the plants as possible to produce the root growth that you want and the plant growth. So one of the things when we designed this greenhouse, that's what we pushed for.
Okay.
To control it, there's a system, it's called the Argus system, and that we can go in, we set it to certain temperatures. That's actually one of our sensors. We set it at certain temperatures, so this way the heater knows basically when to turn off.
Okay.
And when to turn off.
Oh, I see. So the sensor is actually on top of this thing. We get a temperature as well as a light sensor.
We also have what they call the ceiling sensors.
The ceiling. That thing up there is called a ceiling.
That thing, this is a ceiling. So above the shade, because right now with the light intensity, we had the shade on here starting in March, and we won't have it turned back to automatic until about November.
Okay, and so by automatic versus like manual shading, that we actually have a shade cloth up there that I guess can be rolled
it's
back.
Automatic. It just actually literally lifts up.
Oh, it lifts up.
And yeah, it's actually cool. There's a roller that it rolls onto, and it.
Can you do it for us? Chrissy just got excited. Let's see it in action, folks. I bet she's going to turn the sprinkler heads on me. She's not telling me. It's all going to come on me. So for any Stockton students watching, this is really where tuition money goes to, so that you guys have access to the best of the best. I mean, we're talking like some of the best technology for greenhouses available. If you are a student and you want to do research at Stockton, you can easily work with a faculty member who will get you in this greenhouse and get you working on a project in the greenhouse, especially if you work on the organic farm, which we're going to be visiting next week. There's projects going on in here on growing crop species. So I'm not really sure why I'm not seeing any comments, if it's just because, something's happening. Anyways, I'm not sure if I'm not seeing comments because people aren't commenting, or it's because something's wrong with the comment box. But in any case, if you have questions, ask them, and I will get back to you as soon as I finish up with the stream. All right, so this is a slow process right here, but what we're doing is we're rolling back the shade cloth. Now, this is all on an automatic system. Chrissy just turned it on for us. Just to demonstrate. But what's happening right now is that it is...
And this way you can see the ceiling tiles.
That's really neat, folks.
It's on pulleys.
So it's not actually rolling up, it's just kind of folding up. Right, okay. So it's kind of like an automatic garage door opener just happening in slow motion. And I presume that you can stop it at a certain distance so that we get a certain amount of light going in.
Now, there's 3 panels in this room that are at the top. And then we have the one big one on the side.
Is this also a grape right here?
That's a grape. This is the grape section.
This grape isn't looking very good.
Well, it needs to be repotted. So I'm only here part of the day. So.
I see, so we've stopped it now. We could open it up all the way if we wanted to, but we've stopped it so
At 50%.
at 50%. Okay. And so you can see that we have this beautiful roof. Oh, Christ, that's a lot of sunlight. So we've got a beautiful roof. State-of-the-art glass as well. I mean, you have to be very careful when developing a greenhouse to make sure that you where's Chrissy? There's Chrissy. To make sure that you get the right type of light. You don't want to block too much ultraviolet light. You don't want to let too much of it in, etc. So we have to pay attention to all that kind of stuff. So we can control the temperature. We can control the irrigation. We can control the lighting. We've got we've got a general heater in that corner.
And one behind
We've
you.
got a fan here. So we can open the windows over there for ventilation. So can it make my breakfast for me too? Not yet.
So I'm sure it can.
So what other systems can we control?
So it's water, heating, lighting.
So that's all a plant really needs. Now, we have this central area right here with all of these beautiful plants that Chrissy has been showing us. What other parts to this greenhouse? We also have the ability to close off some parts of this greenhouse if we want maybe like a Sahara desert room, or if we want a summer room versus a spring room. So why don't you show us that?
So we can walk through this way. So this is the farm section.
The farm section, guys.
And I believe it's going to be a live stream about the farm
Okay.
at one point. So this is where they start the crops in this greenhouse. And then when they get to a certain height, they'll take them out to the farm and plant them.
Green sunset? I don't know. Green oak leaf, green crisp. So folks, it's been pretty hot in the greenhouse, so we've got a little bit of desiccation going on. I'm guessing these are tomatoes?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of desiccation going on. This is actually not dead. This is the leaf trying to protect itself by boosting up certain pigments in the leaf structure itself so that it doesn't die from desiccation or ultraviolet light. Cool. So we've got more controllers. We've got we've got another one of these controllers over here. It's actually misting on me right now. Something
The
is.
system in this was changed, so they weren't going to wash out any seeds that might started. So they put this type of misting system in so it goes down. So most farm greenhouses will have this type of misting system.
A mister instead of a spray on the side.
Right.
Okay.
A typical tropical greenhouse, and if you're growing certain things, you want to have it where it's coming out, straight out.
Okay.
Closer to the pot, was this if you went a little bit higher, so it's spraying there.
Okay, okay. So if anybody wanted to like more finely control one set of plants on one of these tables, could we somehow manipulate could we enclose them in some kind of box to manipulate?
If you wanted to make it so that was more humid because that plant needs more humidity,
Neat.
you could build something to accommodate that.
And so what have we got over here?
So this is our desert area.
Our desert area. Actually does not feel all that deserty.
It was hotter earlier, and it felt like a desert. So right now, right here, and in that corner is the baby of that big one that we saw earlier.
Whoa, it's a baby.
It's the baby that I started.
Man, you're really good at starting plants.
I started a lot of these. These are a variety of different jades. So there's a big jade here. If you look down the aisle, that's the mommy plant. That's the mommy jade off of, and then I started the bigger one off of that when I was a student. So I started that one, and then that one that's on the bench is a baby off of that one.
Man.
And this is why we call it the greatest greenhouse. Look outside. It's the view. This is the best view ever.
Well, there's a police car out there right now, but you know.
But when there's snow on the ground,
It is very pretty.
people come up here for this because of the snow.
I see that they are trying to plant stuff for the drainage ponds. That's cool. That's cool.
So we have different
So we've got a lot of succulents.
succulents. and cacti.
This
here.
one's so
It's
neat.
a type of Haworthia.
Check that out.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Those on the end there, those are aloes. Normally they'd be green, but because of the intensity of light in here,
Sure.
they turn the red.
So if you guys didn't know, when plants get really overlit or overheated, they bump up the amount of xanthophyll pigments inside, which are red pigments. And that's to protect it against ultraviolet light. It kind of disperses that ultraviolet radiation. This
is called a money tree.
A money tree?
It's a type of jade.
It's thick. It's thick.
It's thick. This is the mommy plant of that one.
So in case you guys didn't know, the reason why succulents are so thick, they actually maintain a lot of water, but also a lot of oil inside of here. It's one of the reasons why when Mediterranean regions catch on fire, they burn so hotly and so well, is because there's all this oil inside of the leaves.
And these are easy to stir up because if you notice on this one, there's actually a root.
Oh yeah.
And this one plant fell the other day. So right now these are all the cuttings.
Oh, okay.
Branches that fell off that I will start cuttings with.
So you could really just lay this, actually, if you wanted to, you could really just lay this in the soil.
Yep.
I actually have a jade that I started in my office, and if you have a little bit of rooting hormone powder, you don't need it. It helps a little bit, but you could really just stick this thing right on the soil, just keep it moist, and it'll grow. It'll start rooting right into it.
And most when you're trying to start succulents and cacti, you want them to callus over where the stem is, so you don't get any rot. Once it's calloused over, usually it's within like 24, 72 hours, you can pot it up.
Oh, that's so neat. All right. Look at this little fun guy right here.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Aw, he's adorable. Neat.
And we have different varieties. So this one here is called, it's one of my favorites, it's a donkey's tail.
A donkey's tail.
Yeah, it just hangs down. Usually we have it in a hanging basket. We have another variety of it that's down there. That's a burro's tail. And the easy root, leaves just fell, we call these leaves, when they just fall off, they root like crazy.
Plants are very, very opportunistic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Oh boy. We just killed something.
Yeah, we're trying to come up with a system to identify the different things. This one's bloom.
Man, cactus flowers are some of the coolest flowers out there.
They are.
Really, they put all of their energy into these one or two little flowers.
Now
Why is this blue?
It's a good question.
Did you spray paint it?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
I didn't. I bought
so
that
how's
and
it
it was
blue?
blue. Most times they're dyed, but this one is not dyed. It's been being bred.
Wait, what is it?
It's blue.
Desert Gems Cacti.
That's the company. I just thought it was neat just to get something different in here. There's little spikes on it.
That is super cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at those, a couple of those big tall plants, those are agaves.
These?
Yeah,
Or these?
This one. That one there, it's called an aloe. This is an agave plant.
The same one that makes tequila? Oh man. I wonder if Eve's listening.
And then we have lots of aloe in here, so.
So guys, if you don't know, is this blue? Blue agave?
I don't know if it's blue.
So agave, if you are interested, I teach a class on beverages and botany, and tequila is made from agave. And what happens is there is agave, especially blue agave is the variety that traditional tequila is made from. It will flower once in 10 years. And when it flowers, it is this huge central stalk that would go all the way up here. And what happens is the farmers that want to make tequila, they don't allow the stalk to grow. They cut the stalk off, and the plant keeps on shoving nutrients to the flower in the hopes that the flower will grow, but we cut the flower off. And so what the farmers do is they harvest all of the pulp, all of the sap that the plant is directing to the flower, and then they add a little yeast. And they ferment that sap, which has a lot of sugar, and voila, you get the precursor to tequila, and then you have to distill it before you get drunk.
This one I like because it's called a rose echeveria, because the shape of it's like a rose.
Rose echeveria. That's gorgeous.
And then back here we have what I call the old man cacti.
Yeah, I like these. Why do they do that? Why do they form all of that fuzz?
Protection.
Is it a protection? But they have spikes too.
So this way certain animals can't go and destroy it.
It's a Stephen King novel where all the women.
And a lot of the
Form
cacti
these
and
things.
succulents, when if they break or something like that, you get like a yellow sappy gluish thing.
Okay.
Most common with the euphorbias.
So, just from an ecological standpoint, you know, cacti really do need to protect themselves because, look, they grow really slowly. They don't have a lot of resources. They can't suffer damage. Like if somebody came along and just ate off this right here, just ate off this portion, they die. So they really need to protect what they have, and they do that with all of these thorns and with all of this, I guess, fuzz, which I'm going to guess is made of the same stuff as your fingernails.
That's the baby of the one that's in
Man, you must have a wonderful home garden.
Well,
Yeah.
it hasn't really been maintained since I'm not there as much anymore.
All right. Well, what else do we got? Is this just going to the prep room
That
back
goes in the
here?
prep room, but this
Okay.
is our fogging system. We do have a fogging system.
A fogging system. We can produce fog
To
for
keep
like a
the-
rave.
I wish, but it's to keep the temperature down. So when the temperature in the greenhouse reaches a certain thing, this should be kicking on, and it will produce like a misting. So the pipe along the end there is the misting system for the
Oh,
fogging. So
man.
it will spray out and keep it cool.
That is so neat, Chrissy. You're so short. Look, I mean, it's at eye level. I mean, just looking at the top of your head, I feel bad. So we can actually control one more thing in here, which is we can actually control the precipitation. We can create a fog in here. Man, I want to see that. Don't do it.
No,
Don't
I can't do it.
Not right now.
No, it's gonna do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's. There's one more room back there that we can just show you guys. I don't know if it has any plants in it.
Right. Well, that room right now does have any plants in there.
Hang on, we can't hear you. Hang on, we can't
Oh,
hear you.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah, let's
it's
walk. Let's walk. Let's walk. Let's walk.
bunch of stuff.
Oh boy, that's slick. Close the doors here. All right. So why doesn't this room have anything? Is it currently busted?
Well, right now we're working on the sprinkler system in this room, and because of COVID, to make it easier for me, we relocate all the plants into this room. So
Okay.
right here.
So this is what the rooms really look like before we stuck a whole bunch of plants in there. And
So if anyone's deciding to build a greenhouse, this is what it's like.
you know, guys, I mean, this really isn't rocket science, but it takes a lot of concerted effort between a lot of different faculty to get it just right. You know, to get all the motors in from all parts of the world. What are these things?
Those are called ant traps. So
Oh, ant traps.
most people, if you have a greenhouse, you're going to experience ants at one point in time. It's
Okay.
common. There's nothing really you can do about it. But we use ant traps to try to get any ants that we might have. in the plants.
Nice. Okay. Neat. Very
And we also
neat.
substitute, besides having a sprinkler system, we do have hoses in here.
Well, of course.
In case there is an issue, or if a plant needs more water, and you just have one plant, you don't want to turn on the sprinkler system, so you use this.
Neat. There's nothing else that I would want in a greenhouse.
Fertilizer system.
Oh yeah, we could get a fertilizing system.
Yes, so there are automatic fertilizer systems that you can set up.
Can I go through?
Yes, you can.
Well, I know we're trying to make one entrance and one
I
exit
haven't
here,
put it in effect
so
yet.
we're not. So this is the back room of everything, guys. So it takes almost an equal space of controllers and prep just to make sure that we maintain this greenhouse. So why don't you tell us a little bit about these Argus controllers right here?
So the greenhouse is run by a system called the Argus Controls. So each room has their own system.
Okay.
So we'll have the desert area, the main area, the farm area, and then the tropical area.
Can you show us inside one of them?
I think it'll be cool.
We have a little bit of submerged aquatic vegetation growing here, guys. This is my cup of tea. Even though I don't know what this is. Oh, those are fake plants. Chrissy, they're fake! The plants in here. I was trying to identify them and they're fake.
You did identify them then.
Well, only when I realized that they're aquarium plastic. I almost look like an idiot. There's a little coral or something in there.
Yes, we have coral in that. Well, there's actually octopus in that one.
There's an octopus?
Not octopus. Is it octopus or is it
Oh, an octopus coral?
No, they actually.
An anemone?
Mm-hmm. It's a tip. Well.
That's so cool. Oh, we got one open. So there's your guts, folks.
Mm-hmm. So anyone who wants to put a greenhouse out, this is one of the best. I personally think it's one of the best ones around. And you can set it up so you have your heating, your watering, your ventilation. So in this greenhouse, you see the windows are open at the bottom, but we also have windows that open up at the top. They're called the ceiling vents. So they open up because you want to have a constant flow of air, and you want to get as much heat out of the greenhouse as possible, especially in the summer.
Okay.
In my own greenhouse at home, plants grow out in the summer. I shut my greenhouse
So
off.
if a student wanted to learn how to build or maintain a greenhouse, like they could study how this one has been developed?
Mm-hmm. I built my own.
That's so neat.
I built my own greenhouse at my house.
So that's really interesting as well, folks. I mean, if you are interested in learning about how to build a greenhouse, which is a major industry right now, especially in the hydroponics, this is a great place to study because we are dealing with state-of-the-art technology. So we have right here, we have a prep room where if you are trying to develop an experiment, you have lots of open space. You can see that it's maintained very cleanly. We've got everything labeled. Chrissy will kill you if you dirty it up. Yeah, I mean, so it's a great place for you to do some experiments if you want to.
And in this room, we can hold an entire class. So we can hold 24 students in this room.
Well, not right now. You can't.
Not right now, we can't, but normally you could. And then still have students in the greenhouse as well.
And I see we've got incubators here as well, growth chambers.
These are our growth chambers. We have 2 teal growth chambers.
Is there anything in here?
I don't know if there's anything, if this one's being
No,
used.
nothing in here. So this is a growth chamber, folks. So I mean, these are just useful for maintaining a really, really very carefully controlled lighting system. I know it looks a little old, but they don't get much better than this. It's just a box with a bunch of lights in there. Does this one have CO2 control?
No.
Okay, so some of them actually have the ability to put a CO2 canister on the side and control CO2. We have 2 of these growth chambers, which is fantastic. Most places don't even have one.
Usually I have it set and then I just leave it and I should always get it put.
So these growth chambers are all controlled by computer?
These are, but that is the system for the greenhouse.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to put the shade back.
Man, this
This is the computer, the way it is kind of computer. This is the
Sure.
control system for the greenhouse, or for the chambers. And you can program it to what you want it to be.
Great. That's so cool.
It is kind of noisy. These came back over here from the lower F-wing sites.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we had a place to store them. A lot of times they just get tossed.
Right.
Cool. So, I mean, guys, this is a really amazing thing. You know, I mean, most universities, especially smaller universities like Stockton, they don't get the opportunity to have something like this. This is really one of the cooler aspects of Stockton University, especially if you're an environmental science student or a sustainability or a biology student. The ability to have this resource at your fingertips. And, you know, it's just awesome to have all of these plants here, too. Just one, because it's super cool just to have a resource for any class that needs a plant, to show a plant to anybody. And if any Stockton professors are listening, you know, if you would like to try growing something in this greenhouse for research or education, just talk to Chrissy. She will hook you up with the forms that are necessary. She'll show you what to do. She'll give you access to it, and she'll even set some student workers on helping you to maintain it. Do we ever give public tours?
They're not necessarily public per se. If we have a group of people here, we will show them to like the STEM programs. We show them the greenhouse. We also will do it for open houses.
Okay.
We have the doors open now,
Okay.
so people can come in and out of the greenhouse.
All right, so if you're a prospective student, you can come in and you can see this. And I'll tell you what, if you're a prospective student and you are specifically interested in seeing the greenhouse, I am absolutely sure that we can hook you up with either Chrissy or somebody else that can show you around.
Yeah.
All right, well, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about this green? I keep on losing you in focus. No, is there anything that you would like to tell anybody else about this greenhouse, Chrissy?
Well, the one thing people have to realize too, that when we first started here, it was really hot.
Okay.
But now we notice that the temperature's starting to go down. To me, it's cooler in here now.
Okay.
Compared to what it was when we first started doing the live stream. And that's because the sun is starting to change the location of it. So you'll see where the sun is.
Okay.
Greenhouses you want on the south side.
Okay.
So this is the south side of the building.
Okay. Okay.
For a reason, because you want to get as much light as possible during the summer, winter, fall, spring, and that's why you would want it on the south side.
Okay. Yeah, and guys, in case that's a good point. In case you didn't know, if you just drive down Vera King Ferris, as the lights go down, you can actually see the lights on inside of the greenhouse from the road, so you can see the greenhouse that we're talking about. Cool.
And then in greenhouses too, you want to have a sink area, so this way you can wash it. Right now, I have plants that are kind of big.
We ran out of room on the tables, and
Yeah.
so the sink area has plants in it.
Yes.
Because Chrissy is too good. You need to learn how to kill plants too.
Oh, I kill plants.
Yeah.
It's easy to kill plants, so.
Yeah, just talk to my wife. Very neat. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, or for Chrissy or myself, just send them in the chat box, and we will address them as soon as we get back to a computer. All right. Well, thank you very much, Chrissy. Have a good one, all.
You